I was always into art ever since I could walk and talk. Originally, I just wanted to be a commercial artist, but I was found by fine art teachers at a commercial art school that I should pursue fine art. So I went to the academy, which is referred to as a genius school, like Juilliard is the music. So right then I changed my career path to a more practical to a more superfluous one.
Whenever we would have holiday gatherings, we would all sit around, and for example, Christmas, we would open gifts, and my Uncle Doug would be sketching everyone during the gift opening. So it was little things like that where it was kind of weird when we were younger. It's like, why are you drawing us? Stop drawing us. But it ended up being really cool, because then he would make a lot of cool stuff with the sketches. And he was the funny uncle. He was the funny uncle. So
I traveled a lot when I was young, and art was always my interest, and that led me to see and experience cultures that most people wouldn't. So it was a conduit for exposure to cultures.
And we've had lots of conversations about the programs, and I think that sometimes just hearing his thoughts and his perceptions of what he goes through has made me more aware of the quality of programming and what you want to see done. And I think that just has made me and everyone I work with rise to the challenge to do better.
When I first saw Doug's artwork, I was struck by what he did with such raw materials. And the thing that struck me is I knew the woman that he painted, whose portrait he did. And I've known her for a few years, and so I knew some of the essence of her spirit. And Doug had captured her spirit on that paper in less than an hour of painting. So what struck me the most was how he captured the soul of the person that he was painting.
So I think anytime you have someone in a family with a substance use disorder, I mean, you're going to have struggles, and there's going to be times where you feel, why won't this person just stop doing what they're doing? Why won't they just stop? And I think that what's important is that people in our family view, addiction as a disease, and we know that, this is a struggle now, and that there are things that, we can try and support, and we can try and help, and ultimately it has to be a group effort, if you will. So I think it's, I'm not a sibling. I know my mom has dealt her fair share of distress, of worrying, but I mean, when you meet my uncle, you'll see that he does not have that mindset of being stressed about things. I think that's throughout everything, he's maintained such a positive outlook, which is great.
I wish I could. I say all the time, you only get one life. Doug, I just want you to go slowly and go here. But it's as if he responds and answers when converses, but he doesn't seem to want what I want, or does he? I don't know. And he's unable to accomplish it. It's frustrating.
I've always had a very strong, supportive family, even though they at times didn't really understand me as much. The events that happened that made me homeless were due to two things. My ability to want to paint, no matter what, responsibilities would have to be curtailed. And because of that, I lost my studio and I had to live on the streets. But it really didn't sink into me that I was homeless until I started to become a drug addict eventually. But it was just the feeling that I was devoid from any self-preservation, that I felt that it was bad for me to be homeless. But before, up in that time, it was just a way to just continue my art career.
He's just really, he's amazing for not ever renting an apartment by himself, not having a job, steady job, doesn't drive ever, never got a license. He doesn't have a whole lot of things that everyone else has. But when you sit and talk with him, he's like a regular person.
One thing I learned about being an artist is I learned the value of things, not the price of things. I developed an opiate addiction early because I was in a car accident. I was taking painkillers. And I wasn't homeless, but I was living in places where I was fixing up and they're very cold. I think the first time I ever tried heroin, I sniffed it. And it kept me warm all night. I didn't think of the addiction of it, even though I knew very well there would be addiction if I used it once in a row. It was a necessary journey, I think, to get through to where I am today.